Hello and welcome to a new teacher training video presented to you by TEFLers Academy. When teaching new vocabulary to their learners, some teachers do this. Teacher, what's mean cosmopolitan? Well, a cosmopolitan city is a large city where people from different ethnics and backgrounds live together. Have you understood? Yes? Okay, great. Let's continue. So, as a teacher, if you do the exact same thing and your learner says, yes, I have understood the meaning of the word, does this make you sure that the learner actually understood the meaning of the word? What if he said yes because he was too shy to say no, or he was afraid of being blamed for not listening? What if he thought he understood the meaning of the word, but in fact he didn't? I'll give you an example. For example, the word stage. If you ask an Algerian with a French background, do you know the meaning of the word stage in English? I'm not talking about a proficient one, I'm talking about a learner. He says, yes, it's like stage in French. So he assumes that stage and stage have the same meaning. So he thinks he understood the word, but in fact he didn't, because it was a false friend. And here comes the most important question in all of this, which is, how do you make sure, 100% sure, that your learners actually understood the meaning of a word that you explained without asking them the question, have you understood, or is it clear? The answer is quite simple. CCQs. So, what do we mean by the TEFL technique, CCQs, or concept checking questions? Let me try to explain it to you by providing you with an example with the same word, which is cosmopolitan. First, of course, you have to explain the word cosmopolitan. It has to be in context in order for it to make sense to your learners and to activate their top-down processing. This is very important. And then, after explaining the meaning of the word, you will ask your learners other questions. You will not ask them, have you understood, or is it clear? You will ask them some questions that are prepared for the purpose of making sure whether your learners actually understood or not. I'll give you examples with the word cosmopolitan. As you can see, the word cosmopolitan is not a word that can be explained in one or two words or in a simple sentence. It includes details. So what are we going to do? We're going to use those details to ask CCQs. Some of those details are: cosmopolitan cities are large cities. So the first concept checking question can be like, are cosmopolitan cities small? If your learners say yes, it means they didn't understand the meaning of cosmopolitan cities. If they say no, it's the first indication that they understood the meaning. So they realize that cosmopolitan cities are large cities. Another fact to use about cosmopolitan cities is the fact that people from different ethnics and cultures live in a cosmopolitan city. So the CCQ can be, is a city that has the same culture a cosmopolitan city? If your learners say yes, it means they didn't understand. If they say no, it means they understood. But it's still not enough. You can give them examples of cities that they know. For example, is London a cosmopolitan city? If they say yes, it means they understood. If they say no, it means they didn't understand. Is Boumerdès a cosmopolitan city? By the way, Boumerdès is a small city in Algeria for those who are watching from outside of Algeria. So if they say yes, it means they still have confusion. If they say no, it means they understood. CCQs do not only come in the form of yes or no questions, they can also come in the form of choice questions. For example, you give your students the names of 3 cities and then you ask them to choose which one of them is cosmopolitan. For example, which of these cities is a cosmopolitan city? Skikda, Jilfa, or Istanbul? Or for example, if you see that one of your learners is still confused, you can ask them this question: where do you live? And then he mentions his city. And then you ask him, is it a cosmopolitan city or not? If he says yes, ask him why. Why do you think it is cosmopolitan? Or if he says no, ask him, why do you think it is not cosmopolitan? If he says, for example, it is small, only Algerians live there, for example, here you understand that he got the idea. Yes or no and choice questions are suitable to use with all levels, but especially with beginners and young learners, because those learners might find it difficult to express themselves in order to explain a certain word. So by asking them yes or no and choice questions, they will be able to say yes or no or give a simple word. Let's say you explained those two words, hand and had. You see, they are very similar, and you want to make sure that your learners understood the difference between head and hand. This is usually when you teach young learners. So the CCQ question can be like this. It can be demonstrative. So watch this example.
Strong. This is arm. And this is head. Is this head? No. What is this? Hand. Hand. Very good. Hand. Head.
Another thing about CCQs, you don't have to ask your learners 8 or 9 or 10 questions and to waste the whole time with CCQs. Only 3, 4, 5 questions are enough just to make sure that your learners give you the right answers that demonstrate that they actually understood the meaning of that particular word. It's better for CCQs to be prepared beforehand and put in your lesson plan. I mean, you might expect which kind of words your learners would ask about, or the words that you have the intention to explain. So try to prepare some questions beforehand in order for it to be easier for you, because it's not easy to come up with CCQs during the lesson. Of course, it will become a skill in the future with more practice, but if you are trying to apply CCQs for the first time, it will be difficult for you to come up with them right away. Now let me give you another example. Let's say you are teaching a group of intermediate level students. You are teaching them reading, and there is a sentence in the text that says, an acquaintance of mine helped me find a new job. And then you had the intention to explain the word acquaintance, or one of the students asked you about the meaning of the word acquaintance. So you explain it. You say, for example, an acquaintance is a person that you know but is not your friend. And then you'd like to check your learners' understanding by asking them CCQs. Remember that the CCQs need to be level appropriate and clear and understood by your learners. So for intermediate level students, they can be something like, is an acquaintance a close person to you? If they say yes, it means they still think an acquaintance is a friend. If they say no, it means this is a first step towards making sure that they understood the meaning. Another question can be, do you tell an acquaintance your secrets? And another question can be something like, is a classmate that you don't meet outside of class considered as your friend or your acquaintance? If they say friend, they still have a problem with understanding the meaning. If they say acquaintance, it means they understood. Now it's your turn to practice. So I'm going to write a word for you here, and you're going to come up with a sentence in order to use this word in context. Then you're going to explain it depending on the meaning in the context, and then you're going to write 3 or 4 or more CCQs to check your learners' understanding, and you're going to write them in the comment section below. And I'll check the answers and I'll choose the best ones and maybe like them or write a comment. Dear teachers and TEFL TESOL CELTA trainees, I hope you enjoyed and learned from this video. Feel free to share it with other teachers and other trainees, since this video is for free and it is not part of our paid courses. So you are allowed and free to share it in order to help the others understand CCQs. Hoping to see you in other videos. Have a great day and stay safe.